item, I guess, to go into new business about the potential for doing some, I guess, tree trimming or some limb kind of stuff on the walking trail. We've had some requests for, so if y'all wanna just pencil that in, we'll talk about that in our new business. That's the only item I had, unless anybody else has anything else to add to the agenda. If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Moving a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so the agenda's approved. Take a look at last meeting's minutes. You have those, Jody, did you?
I
have
did.
them?
Yes.
Does everybody have a copy of them? Give you a chance to look over them and then.
Two.
Yeah.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Have a moving second to approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, last meeting's minutes are approved. Next item's old business. We did not receive, I guess this is kind of,
She texted me this morning, she said she apologized, she should have it by the end of the day, if she
Okay.
does, she sends it to me, then I'll get it out to you
we'll
guys.
send the September financial as soon as we can obtain them. This is, the way the calendar works, this is about the earliest we can have this meeting to be the second Tuesday of the month, so, or maybe it's the third Tuesday of the month, I guess. Anyway, we don't have financials, but we'll review those, and if we have questions, we can discuss those at next meeting. Next item, recommendations on the River Park. So Jody, you wanna talk us through what's going on with the restrooms and anything else on the soccer grant?
Sam Bishop called me a couple days ago, she still hasn't heard anything, so that's still
It's
up
still-
in the air, yeah,
It's
so
not that we didn't obtain it, but it
Right.
just has not,
Yeah,
had
it's
not
not been
approved yet.
awarded to my knowledge. As far as the restrooms, we're closing the one on October the 27th, to repaint it, paint the floors, and do all that stuff, so that'll be the last one here at River Park that will be updated.
When do you think that'll be? Do you have a goal date for when everything will be completed on that?
2 weeks,
Okay,
that's
so
what
it's-
he said, yeah.
So
Once
it's
he,
about
once he
next time.
paints, yeah, once he paints the floor, he said he'll have to keep everybody out so it can dry.
So when we get those invoices, you think you'll be invoiced? What's their timeline usually for invoicing so that we can see where we're at versus the?
I've already sent the requisition in, it was like 10-2, if I'm not mistaken, which he's gonna paint the pickleball, the outside of it too,
Okay.
so to match the rest of them, and then the columns down there, so I think it was 10-2 is what we done for all of it,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
So we're close to being able to run those numbers and see where we're at and see if we've got other projects, if
Yeah.
any remaining funds on that River Park grant that we wanna do something with, okay? Any questions? Soccer grant is on hold or pending approval or, master plan update, I have not heard anything since last month, have you heard
Not
anything?
Cindy sent me an email, but I think it's still on hold.
Okay. Next item, communications plan. I continue to see Facebook posts and things like that, I think, like I say, it's, definitely moving in the right direction, in my opinion. I don't know what anybody else has thoughts or, you got any updates there?
I do not.
Item 5 is maintenance. Anybody hearing anything on maintenance or anything you wanna?
I noticed you cleaned the banks off at Clear Creek.
Yes.
Now that they're cleaned off, what's your thoughts on trying to keep them maintained?
This should be a little bit easier, especially through the winter, for sure, but, we'll probably try to take some community service out on Saturdays and stuff, that's what we do this time. So, mainly the one behind field two, if I'm not mistaken.
Now, those are, they can be a little bit aggravating to keep up.
Yeah.
And
You got trees and everything else
Yeah.
going in there.
looks good though.
Anybody else have anything there? New business, I had somebody reach out, kinda talking about some overhanging limbs and things like that over the, walking trails that we might want to try to get trimmed up. And, they said they had worked, they're part of the Harrison Park group, and they had worked with an arborist, I think. Anyway, Amicalola actually came out. At the end of the day, the story is Amicalola was able to come out and provided some bucket trucks down there, and were able to, help clean some stuff up. So that was just an idea. Do we try to engage them? Do we engage just amidst the county?
I've already engaged the county, so
Okay.
they're supposed to be putting it on the agenda to do.
Okay.
He was at the courthouse this week working, getting some stuff cleaned up around there, so probably this next week, he should be getting down here.
Okay.
Cause we got everything we could reach, but everything up higher, obviously we could not, so.
Right.
But I think they got their bucket truck fixed, and he said he would send somebody down and help clean it up.
Kinda clean it up and
Yeah.
make it a little safer and probably spruce it up a little bit as well. Anything else under new business we need to talk about?
Jody, were we doing anything with the old lights in the middle of the park?
Not yet, so I've not touched them, I don't know what to do exactly with them. At some point, we'll remove all of them, I'm assuming.
Do we know, does it work? I mean, I know it's power,
That whole meter and everything's been removed.
But is that something we wanna do until we know what we're doing about all the other stuff?
no, I just, my thoughts are, do we keep those poles, do we?
Right, cause I meant, well, obviously we replaced these, they took them, but
Yeah.
those I just haven't really.
At some point, we'll have to make a decision,
Yeah.
it's gonna depend on what we end up doing
Right.
with that.
That's right.
I don't think that's an area that we would ever want to actually get rid of the lighting system. I think that benefits us as a
Yeah.
park if we have a community event or something,
Right.
at least you have some type of lights. Maybe we don't need 6 poles though.
Right. And it may be something like with Georgia Power with the way they did the swimming pool, because we paid $340 a month, I think, for that or whatever it is. And it's something where they could light that up probably pretty easily.
That grass is actually filled in nice this year, and there's been a lot of play down there, but it looks to me better right now it looks better than it did this time last year, I think.
I think the winter time's what's gonna, that's where it always gets, is just, grass stops growing, but yet we're still playing.
And they'll still get them,
Yeah.
wear it out.
Anything else around that? Jody, your director's report?
We just finished basketball evaluations last night. I think we had 250 plus basketball players. Of course, we're in wrestling season too, so we got 60 wrestlers. The water fountain, we installed the water fountain bottle coolers, Monday, one at the pickleball courts, tennis courts, and then one at the walking trail. So now people can have water fountains and refill their bottles. I think October, and Jennifer is working on a couple, I've talked to the commissioners about the playgrounds for next year. She's working on a couple of grant opportunities, so hopefully we're gonna be able to incorporate that.
What's the participation look like, basketball and wrestling compared to years past?
Wrestling's about the same, basketball's down just a little bit. We've got, several teams, I think that they think they're gonna be able to play travel right now, which is gonna be, I think, difficult.
I was gonna ask you about that. I mean, do they not know they're on heavy practice time?
We've told
We've
them.
told them, so I mean, because I can't,
But is that not completely against kind of the way the travel program is set up, but we weren't gonna compete with the Park and Rec?
it's actually, back in the day, AAU and YBOA, that used to be from April to October. So from November to March, they did nothing, because they could not. So I think these are individuals that are putting on tournaments, and, if that's it, then that's fine and dandy, but it's not actual travel ball.
And we have parents that think that they can get practice time and use Park and Rec gyms.
Yeah.
When they're pulling away from the Park and Rec.
And we can't. We can't
We
do
need
that.
enough practice time for the
Yeah.
teams you got.
What are your courts this year, what are you going with?
We're going with elementary, the primary, and then this one, obviously for our 5 and 6s. So as of right now, that's all we've got.
Probably pretty tough on practice schedules.
Yeah. I probably could access Clear Creek Middle School. Their basketball season is gonna be done in the middle of December, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't play before, they're done before Christmas.
Is there an option this year since we lost Larry Walker, do like your Saturday games out there like y'all used to?
With the 2 gyms,
Do Clear Creek Middle School
yeah.
gym
Yeah,
Saturday
I could
games?
do that.
I always thought that was really nice
Yeah.
when kids got to play out there and stuff.
Yeah.
Kids.
last year, I think we tried to do, like, split the gyms, or split the days, but, and we talked about that as well, but yeah, I don't think Sarah or Tadero would have a problem.
But that's always nice seeing Larry Walker,
Yeah,
the kids
yeah.
are getting to go play in the big gym,
Right.
and the kids
Yeah.
enjoy it.
So when she gets done with the scheduling and stuff, I'll look at some Saturdays, and especially the big ones, if I can do that.
Has there been any thought to using the multi-purpose center up there for kids practice?
I have not, I've talked to Standard and Johnson a little bit, just in passing about the facilities, but we've not talked
That might
about
be
it.
another option to use that, I mean.
Is that up at the top where the football field is?
The old
I've not
bus,
been in it.
the old bus garage.
They got the goals in.
I'm pretty sure the goals are in.
I think the goals were in last year, if I'm not mistaken.
And I
They
mean,
had
you
the
can hold a
dance or
practice
something
there,
like that.
for sure Saturday practice, I know that, I feel certain that our school system's not gonna be using that on Saturday, probably
No.
through the week. I guarantee from
I think the
7
only
o'clock
thing-
practice.
The only thing they'd be using it for is if they have game days, they might use it for shoot arounds
They
and
use the
stuff
shoot
like
around on
that.
game days, but you figure like on a Monday, a Wednesday,
Does the band use it? There
but they're not, they'd have to be done by 7 o'clock for a 7 o'clock practice, I mean, that could be.
I didn't know if they stored their equipment.
Nah, they got that giant trailer, I bet they do, but I don't know that. I doubt they do, because Standard
We've
uses
been
that.
we've been practicing football up there and, on the high school field, and they're usually, band's usually out there by 5:30.
And I guarantee you get you 7 or 8 o'clock practice in there, and I feel very confident.
I'd say you probably throw it out by 5:30, that's the other school,
Plenty of
at
time.
6. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure Coach Standard.
Yeah,
Johnson.
I'll reach out and see
I
what.
mean, a calendar for some of these parents and kids to be able to practice earlier, you know, that maybe they want.
Cause I know I want
That's what I
5
hear
years
a
for
lot
day
is-
practice.
That's what I hear a lot of these young kids having to practice so late on school nights and all that kind of stuff, it's just so hard to get.
If we can do that,
Yeah,
then
gym.
get you one more gym, that'd get you a bunch more practices in.
What about, they said about basketball will be later on, I guess, but as far as tennis, has there been discussion on the tennis facility?
Oh, it's open.
Are we gonna have any access to that from parking rec standpoint, or?
We can,
if like
for tournaments and stuff
bigger
like
tournaments
that.
and stuff?
Yeah, for the USTA, the Mountain Tennis Association, I've already thought of that, so, but they, yeah, they turned out real good.
Okay, I haven't been up there, I need to go up there and check that out
Yeah.
sometime.
8, right?
8 courts.
Yeah, it's where the
They're
softball
still,
field
they're
was.
still working on the landscape, the surroundings right now, but other than that, they're playable.
But they ended up doing
The
it
middle
here
school's already practicing right
instead of
now.
out there, they were gonna do the Clear Creek, but they ended up doing it here, right?
Yeah. And speaking of tennis, I think October 24th through the 26th, there's a big pickleball tournament. I think there's 150 plus maybe,
240, I think.
so 240 that's coming through.
When is that?
October 24th through the 26th.
Okay, so just in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and then that's
That's gonna
Saturday.
be here?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then Saturday, that 25th, we've got 25 teams playing in a USA softball tournament out of Clear Creek, so we still got softball going on too. So this will be our first little, tournament out there for the winter.
The adult league's over, or they still?
Adult League's still playing every Tuesday, so they had 4 games out here last night, so.
They're exclusively playing here, they're not playing, how's that worked out this year?
I love it.
That's worked out better, that's good.
There's something about that atmosphere on field.
That's just the old field, that's where we always
You
used to
know,
play.
they put their blankets and their chairs on the banks there, and just like it used to
Yeah.
be, and the kids are there, and
Yeah, there you go.
We do have some electrical problems with the concession stand, so we had to run a drop cord down there. So Tammy sits in the dark and runs a concession.
extension cord for one lamp.
The lights have worked out.
The lights have
Field
worked out
lights
great,
are great.
the field lights are great, but, yeah.
Where's that building fed from?
Right
Got
here,
a hole right there on the backside.
someplace we always used to turn it on.
Oh, yeah.
So I've had Georgia Power here twice, and, they say it's from either underground to the the box.
It wouldn't be that hard to get,
No, it's not
get a
long
new
run.
pipe in.
No,
Yeah, and once they finally figured out that's what it was yesterday, he is positive it's just that strip right there.
Or that, or did get it in the.
I think it grounds.
Yeah, that issue. Get that fixed. Long term, we better run the cord.
And our fourth grade made playoffs for football, so they play Saturday. They're playing at 1:30 at Fannin. I think they play London. Is that right? Yep.
How about flag football? How's it?
It turned out good. The elementary team struggled this year. The middle school team, they finished 5th out of 8. And they're actually, we're going to ask if they wanted to go to state again, but I think they've all opted out. Because I think state, the way flag is, while they're trying to grow the sport, they're invited everybody.
I got you.
So it's one of those deals, but they don't play till like December 7th. So, but neither one of our teams are going. I think they're gonna focus on basketball.
What else you got, Joe?
And I think that's pretty much all I got right now, that I can think of.
You may have any questions for Jody?
I know the basketball court down here is covered.
Oh, yeah, that's,
That could be the best thing we've done.
Yeah.
That's,
it's really worked out good, and that was kind of old park and used from time to time, but definitely a better use of that.
Oh, if I had put 2 courts out there, they'd be using it.
It didn't really take up that many parking spaces either. Yeah,
I
that's
think
nice to see.
One Apple Fest weekend is the weekend before, but they had full court, and you had 2 sets of like 5 or 6 guys waiting for the next game, so, you know.
We haven't talked about vandalism in a while, but you haven't seen any of that. All that's
Knock on wood, I haven't had any issues so far. So I think the restrooms, locking those up has helped a lot.
Made a huge difference. Well, and it seemed like it was just a small group that was probably doing all the.
Yeah.
Any thought on lights for that basketball court, or
Oh, I've had a couple requests.
as soon as time changes, it's
Yeah.
gonna kill that?
It wouldn't be that, there's power at the,
Yeah,
pavilion there and stuff, it wouldn't be that.
See
Might
what
be
we
another Georgia Power kind
I
of
should
thing.
say I might could put some kind of security lights out there on each end on the backside, that probably would light it up enough, so.
Be worth
yeah,
checking into
I'll
and
look
seeing
into
what
it.
that looks like. That'd be good, especially if we could partner with Georgia Power and what they did on some of this other stuff. Okay, good. Anything else, anybody? Open it up for public input, if we have any public input.
I have questions.
Sure.
Member of this board has taken to social media recently discussing the tie of SPLOST to the Parks and Rec Center or complex or facility that you all are working on, whatever you're calling it these days. And since this would be the single largest expenditure, to my knowledge, that this county has ever made, and it's tied to a master plan that the public has never seen, I'm curious if you can share any information with the public about what your visions of, since we don't have a master plan to look at, what this board's vision is for this facility, what you've shared with this master planner, if any numbers have come in from any individuals who have looked at any preliminaries and what any preliminary numbers might look like, how many square feet this facility might be, what kind of offerings to the public it might have, and when you're anticipating it might be groundbroken on, and how, when it would be completed, potentially. And also, who have you contracted with, or who are you bidding out to, or who are you discussing? Because it's going to be, there's some debt that's going to be involved, who you're discussing any of that with.
You wanna take that, Jody, or?
Yes, the board. And I think a lot of those questions is gonna be for the Board of Commissioners.
Right.
I mean,
Well, we've asked there, so I'm hoping to
yeah.
get some answers here.
As far as the advisory board, I don't think we've got any, as far as the design and everything else, we're gonna take whatever they give us, so.
Okay, so you've not had any, this board is what you're saying, is you had no discussions with anybody this is an initiative of the Board of Commissioners?
So what we've done is, as a group, a subcommittee of this group, we went and reviewed other similar multi-purpose facilities in surrounding areas that all have these type facilities that we've been requesting for years. We've looked at locations in Gilmer, we've looked at a location in Dalton, we've looked at locations in Union, in Fannin, where else, Lumpkin. And I think, I'm not gonna speak for the board, but I think we like the facility in Fannin the best. It's not a Taj Mahal, I guess. I mean, it's a metal building with some stucco exterior, but it's very useful. It's got 4 gyms. It's got an indoor walking track above it. It's got community rooms upstairs. That is kind of what we recommended back to the board. As far as numbers go, the number that they hit back in 2002, I've got notes on it. I don't have it with me, I don't think, but it was like, I can't remember now, 2 million, 3 million, something like that. But with inflation, those numbers are significantly higher. So we don't have a number. I'm not aware of a number unless the county has a number. I know that whatever it is today, I'm sure will be more 5 years from now. It's much more than it was 20 years ago. So yeah, we don't have a specific set of plans right now, but that's hopefully where we're headed, I would say.
So any assertions by members of this board that this could be groundbroken on should T-SPLOS pass, or not T-SPLOS, SPLOS pass would be, those would be not accurate words.
If groundbroken on, I'm not sure.
Well, the words were that if should SPLOS pass, this Parks and Rec Center was directly tied to it.
Yep.
Okay, so the words were that this year, this project could be broken ground on, but I don't see how that's possible if you don't have numbers or a master plan even.
I don't think it could be broken. I don't think it could be broken on this year. I think it could be broken ground on in 2026. Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the next calendar, maybe that's what was meant as the next calendar year.
Yeah.
But I just wonder how that can be done if you all don't even have access to the data.
I mean, I think that if funds are available, that's what has been the issue the whole time, that funds were not available. I think, my understanding, again, this is my understanding, is that this would be a project that would be high on the Board of Commissioners list of funding, and if those funds were available, then absolutely, I think within 12 months that a project could be designed and ground could be broken on. I think that's well within reason.
Okay, you're not aware of the name of any companies that have been, so you all, I just want to be clear because I'm just wondering who to ask the questions of. You all are kind of on the sidelines, so to speak, no pun intended here, sidelined here as far as this project moving forward. You're here as an advisory board to the Board of Commissioners, especially with regard to this massive project. They're taking the lead on this. Is that what I'm understanding?
I hope that the Board of Commissioners reaches out to this group for recommendations, and maybe they even set up a committee of a portion of this group to try to help with the project. I don't anticipate that we will do anything like project management or anything like that. I mean, we all have full-time jobs, but I think we would hopefully have input. But ultimately, the Board of Commissioners will definitely be the ones that vote and choose.
Right, so you all thank you for the dialogue, by the way. So you all are just saying, these are things we want. These are things that we're providing services and opportunities for kids and sports and parks and rec. And these are the ideals. This is the ideal situation of what we would like. And we've taken some road trips and we looked at other facilities and we see what works there. So we just like to have that here, right? That's basically what you all have done. And so you've kind of given your wish list to the Board of Commissioners.
Yeah, I don't know that it's a wish list or an ideal situation. I do think we've taken into account that what the other counties have, it's not, hey, let's go do 12 courts. It's, we think we're a certain size, we think other people are a certain size, we've seen this work in other places, so let's try to make a good recommendation that is sound and takes into account funding and
Mhm.
You know, benefit plus cost, not just all benefits.
Well, if we could always get what we wanted, it would be amazing in life, right? But I do appreciate I mean, I see that and I understand that a lot of effort goes into what Jody does and others do, and you all are doing to, and your involvement and how that is, you know, I mean, kids are the future of Gilmer County, right? So I appreciate, just want to say I appreciate all that, but I do have some questions about it that needed to be clarified as far as, you know, there's a Parks and Rec group, they're come up with this amazing plan that's going to cost this fortune. They don't care about this, you know, what it's going to cost the taxpayers. That's not you. That's nothing to do, it sounds to me, to do with you all. You're just saying we're representing this area of concern and interest in Gilmer County, and here's what we'd like to do, and we think it's a reasonable ask. And it's the commissioners who have had all the meetings, who are looking at the budget dollars and are allocating the funds. Anything that would have been shared on social media by members of this group would have come from the Board of Commissioners, as far as promises, assertions, timelines, and dollars, right?
I think that's fair.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
I have a follow-up. What is the status of the master plan study? It's been underway for at least a year and a half, if not 2 years. Have you received any updates that can quantitatively help steer where this SPOS money possibly goes? And I'll have a follow-up after that.
I personally have not, so, I think the number that they came back and said that it's gonna cost us to build this center was so astronomical that they put things on hold. So, I think
What was
there is
that?
probably, the original budget, or when they came back and said it would cost X amount of dollars to build this, that's when it kinda said, whoa, wait a minute, we're not going to spend that much money.
Okay.
So I think that's kind of what has got the master plan on hold right now a little bit. I'm not gonna say that there's not a master plan out there. They've got an idea of how many courts or what we can, you know, budget wise. I've not seen it. So,
Well, the questionnaire that went out as the master plan was much more broad in scope, about acquiring additional lands for future park use. What weighting to give to different sports and different things, whether, you know, I think one thing like it was expanding Clear Creek with more softball fields to accommodate larger tournaments, that sort of thing. Has any of that survey, the raw survey data, been shared with this board?
I don't think so. I'm not sure, I can't speak for the board, but I think what I've understood is maybe they're waiting on the site, like, I could completely understand that. Again, I'm not speaking for the board, but until you figure out where your site is, it's hard to figure out, it's hard to decide. It's hard to put a master plan out and say, it's gonna be wherever, if it might be somewhere else. So that is logical that if you figure out where the site is, then you can complete the master plan and kind of finish it up. But, again, that would really be a question for the board to be specific on. If that makes sense.
Well, Commissioner Ferguson said, are you aware of what the status of the master plan is with the commission? Is it on hold?
I think Jason's spoken very well for this board and for us. We, because properties are involved, there's some confidentiality, I'll just say, that looking for a site is something that we've been keeping in mind, and I'll just leave that at that. So, Jason, you've spoken very well on behalf of this board and the Board of Commissioners, and clarified.
Well, I'll make one more point too. The comment keeps coming up that this is for kids. It is for kids. But when you go around and look at these other facilities that we've toured, it's not just for kids.
Absolutely.
I mean, there are tons of adults that are using these facilities. There's senior citizens that are using them. This facility that we're talking about is for everybody in our community. So it's not just, I think that's a misconception that some people have, is that you know, I've seen things on Facebook too, and it's like, well, my kids are grown, so why should I care about this? Well, that's completely not the point that we have right now, so.
So back,
I think
oh,
at the
sorry.
end of the day, at the Fannin facility, you'll get a really good
Absolutely.
idea
Mhm.
how broad that is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an excellent facility
Yeah.
that is, very functional, but modest in presentation and cost.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I know initially there were people that were turning up their nose at the idea of a Fannin-like facility. They wanted one like was going up in Dahlonega.
Right,
But that's all bells and whistles up there.
right.
And Fannin is very utilitarian and has served that community extremely well.
Yeah. And the design is such that it can be expanded very easily.
Mhm.
I think they're in the process of expanding it. I mean, that, when we had the subcommittee, that was our recommendation, was something very similar to Fannin, if not exactly that. Maybe they built that for Fannin County in 2002 or whatever it was. So, you know, if they have 4 courts, maybe we could have 5 or 6. We have to run the numbers, but, you know,
Yeah.
what does that look like? But something in that very,
And our
very
region
similar.
has grown a lot since that Fannin
Absolutely.
facility was built.
Absolutely. So,
You know.
and that's where we're at.
So back during those years, the early year in 2006-07 era, and some of you, I think Jody has been involved since that long, probably with Parks and Rec, or close to that. Some promises were made to Parks and Rec that there would be this facility built back then. I think this is something that has been promised to Parks and Rec for a very long time. And part of that promise came from, you know, if the community would just agree to put out debt, bonds. We're all still paying for that today. And here we are today having the discussion, and there's still no Parks and Rec Center. So there's no guarantees. There are no guarantees historically that this SPLOST, and I just would encourage you all to not say it's the SPLOST equals a Parks and Rec Center, because we've seen previously that's not true, because we wouldn't be having this discussion today, and you all would have built a facility back in 2006, and you wouldn't be having, you know, and we would be have spent those 2006 and 2007 dollars.
I'm not aware of the time that a SPLOST was said to be for a park and rec center, for a animal shelter, for like, maybe there was, I'm not aware of it, but my understanding is that is what the commissioners have said, these SPLOST, like they will, here's projects that we will fund if that's what I hope we're doing.
It's just very vague.
Right.
The language in today's SPLOST is very vague, and the language then didn't exist because the bonds were just issued through the building authority arbitrarily, and that just kept coming, and none of those funds went to Park and Rec. And I'm just asking the question, are there any assurances that have been given to you all by the Board of Commissioners that you, if SPLOST passed, you will get a Parks and Rec Center, whatever the cost?
That'd be a question for the commissioners, so that's where we're at. I guess my thought is just, and this is just I've heard farmers say, you know, the best time to plant a pecan orchard was 30 years ago, and the next best time's today. So that's how I feel about this this multi-purpose facility. Is we should have done it 30 years ago, but we didn't. So the next best time is to do it today. It's never going to be better than today. Wish we'd have done it 30 years ago, but now, if not, we just need to do it. That's Jason's opinion. I'm not speaking for this board.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other public input? Okay, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?